We should sing more, guys. We should sing more.
We should sing more.
I keep pushing more singing.
Fuck. I would sing more.
Cancel culture.
Beatboxing.
This podcast may ruin your career.
You could do the rap element.
Yeah, we'll throw you in there, Evan. You can
No
do the
one
rap
wants
part.
that. Nobody wants that.
Cancel
Culture
podcast.
Welcome back to Cancel Culture, the podcast writers' room where a diverse group of Gen Z female comedy writers create an unoffensive joke about a topic that most might consider a no-fly zone in comedy that even an old, white, cis man, aka my dad, can tell without getting canceled. Today's topic, jokes about terrorism. Yeah.
Can I just say the no-fly zone for this episode?
Especially
It's
pertinent. Spot on.
Whoa. Okay. Well, that's right. We're going to write a joke about terrorism that a white dude can tell without sounding like an asshole. Why?
To show that
it's
it's
possible.
possible.
Show that
Possible.
it's not gonna happen.
Okay. Amazing. Let's introduce our players as per usual. I'm Jamie. I don't remember 9/11, but I do remember having to sit in silence in school every year because #never forget.
Of course.
And I do remember one of my classmates in the first grade when we were #never forgetting, we were sitting in silence and my classmate peed all over herself. So when I think of 9/11, I do think of pee. So her never forget means something totally different.
Well, do
You'll
you? Okay,
really
so
never forget.
there was another connection to 9/11 though with your birthday. So your bat mitzvah was on September 10th,
Oh yeah.
and a lot of your friends refused to
A
come.
lot of
to
my
this
camp
day.
friends didn't come. Well, because my bat mitzvah was on 9/10/11, which was the day
Wow.
before the 10th anniversary of 9/11, of 9/11, and everybody was freaking out because it was at this theater in Times Square. So everybody was like, "There's going to be another attack
Oh my
as like an
God.
anniversary gift."
This is
to
city kid
America.
life. This is what it's like to grow up in New York.
Well, and so then a lot of my camp friends didn't come to my bat
Didn't come on.
mitzvah
They blew it
because
They were
They didn't
scared.
want to get blown up.
yeah,
There.
they blew it off because they didn't want to get blown up.
My
I'll
dad joke of
say,
the episode.
I'll say this. The only thing that happened was my party was da bomb.
Mm.
Anyway, moving on. I think we've introed me well enough. Let's continue.
Hi, everybody.
Who?
I'm Sarah. And when I was younger, my teachers would refer to me as a little terror. So,
Mm.
Oh.
because I was a scamp.
Icon.
Yeah.
Iconic. Mm.
Thanks, guys.
Why did they call you a terror? What'd you
I was
do?
naughty, chatty, daydreamy, head in the sky, you know?
Did you like do
Mm.
spitballs?
It was quite hard to teach. No. I feel like I was more of a sort of like social naughty versus like the weird private
Yeah.
one at the back of the class.
I feel like you thrive teaching middle schoolers.
Me?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. My tactic at the moment, you wanna know what it is?
Yeah.
If they're being like naughty, I just act like a weird older sister and I'm like, you guys are being really weird right now. And I'll just kind of like put them in their place, like make them get real introspective.
Embarrass them.
Yeah, just
Love that tactic. Amazing.
humiliate, public humiliation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only slightly scarring.
Only the most
Wait.
minute.
You have to tell the story of the kid who was like being weird
Just
to
being
you.
gross.
He was being gross and you were like,
Oh, yeah. Well, that was gross. There was just this child once. I was playing a really fun game where it was like part of it was to spin, and I spun, and this child was just like, "Will you do that again? Like, will you do that again slower?" And like being a little creepy, little pervy weirdo.
How old?
Like 13, like
Yeah,
bar
12,
mitzvah
13.
age to bring it right back
Oh, yeah.
from whence we came.
talk
Yeah.
about a little terrorist.
My name is Elayna, and I can remember exactly where I was when the Michigan militiamen were arrested, 2 years ago, when they attempted to kidnap Big Gretch. Although only a few of them are going.
Wait,
to
guys.
jail.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh!
I have no idea what you're talking about. Not even
I
one.
do not know.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull it out of my pocket and tell you.
She's
So,
too British
there's
for this.
So
mind's
Michigan,
on the queen.
is kind of the Wild West, but in the Midwest. I don't understand why people want to be a part of the rebel flag and all that shit. I'm like, you're from the North. We weren't even involved in this. Like, I don't understand. Anyway, A group of men don't like Big Gretch because, they don't like women. They don't like women in
Do
authority.
you know who Big Gretch is?
No
Gretchen
idea. Not
Whitmer.
one single
Gretchen
clue.
Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, who's badass, amazing.
Got it. Love it.
Yeah. I'm voting in Michigan this year, so you guys know where I'm voting. But this group of men concocted this like very elaborate plan to kidnap her. She's also really good looking, so I think they would have just planned a murder or assassination rather if she was like not as good looking. But they were going to kidnap her and like torture her and all this shit.
Yeah.
And
Ew.
the FBI got involved. And like
Paul said kind of a
also
compliment.
kind of a compliment.
That's
I like it
cancelable,
like
right?
that.
That's a cancel.
I don't know. I think it's funny.
So Sarah,
If I
you
could
would be flattered.
You'd be flattered.
Don't you
if
know
they
me by
kidnapped
now?
me.
Of course I
So
would.
much attention.
All that exactly, all that personal
Yeah,
attention.
Like if her middle schoolers, instead of being creepy little pervs, had like plotted to
To
kidnap her.
They had like
She would have been
maps and shit, like
thrilled.
with drawings.
Yeah.
This is me in the pickup
Yes.
truck.
like, someone thinking
Blueprints
about
of
me
the
for more than 2
school.
minutes.
Seriously. Wow. Oh
Paul
man.
said it's like when the kidnapper puts you in his trunk. So you think I'm like skinny?
I feel like Paul has this Google search bookmarked.
This is
She
Gretchen
does have
Whitmer.
great hair.
Why is she
has
called
great
Big
hair.
Gretch?
Because in Michigan we like nicknames. Okay.
Okay. so
Sarah's
it's
like, that's
It's a
offensive.
term of endearment.
No,
She
Big
looks
Gretch, 'cause
quite
she's-
slender and curvaceous to me.
Well, it's not a descriptor of how she looks. It's like she's the boss lady. Like she's the big man
Big
in
and kind
town.
of an aura.
Yes. And yeah, she's just badass. She's amazing.
Big
Don't-
Gretch.
Don't look at Tudor Dixon. So silly. Also,
What were
it's
you
so
gonna say?
funny when they were all lined up, like all the mugshots together. I laughed so hard because they're all wearing like the same gray t-shirt. They have like the same beard. They're like all the same face shape. It was so strange. It was like a bunch of cousins got together and plotted this, but they're not related at all. But they look so similar. It's so crazy.
It is kind of crazy how ugly terrorists are. Like, talk about outsides reflecting the insides. Like, what is with everybody in Charlottesville?
No,
Like,
I think that's your
think that's wrong?
generalizing. I don't know. I don't think.
I don't
that's
know.
it.
Who's a hot
name-
terrorist,
name-
Evan?
name a hot terrorist.
The Unabomber was.
Yeah, I was
kinda
gonna say
sexy.
Unabomber actually
Kaczynski
was
was pretty sexy. And he went
Yeah,
to
but
UMich.
that's
Michigan
He
again, guys.
originated the
Michigan again.
Michigan again.
We're growing all the terrorists.
Hold on.
wait. Also,
You're
I just
welcome.
want to harken back to Paul's message in the chat, which I don't know where the
Which
comedy
one?
is in this, Paul, but he just said first grade watching people jump to their deaths is kind of wild. How are we supposed to emotionally grasp listening to their last call before the plane went down? Was that a joke? That's just sad.
That's just facts.
Oh, he
Why is
said
he
there's no
doing that?
comedy in it.
Right.
Why'd
Okay.
you write that in the
Why
chat?
are
Why are you
putting
trying
it
to
in the
Why
chat?
would you
What do
write
think?
drag us all
What-
down?
What kind of producer
You're
does
trying
that?
to you're trying to show your age, Paul. You remember being a first grader?
Paul, you're
Listen,
younger
remember-
than me.
So you're being earnest.
Yeah. Aren't you 12, Paul?
You're the only one on this podcast who remembers 9/11.
Yeah.
That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, we get it. You're old. It's fine.
Thanks for reminding me. Should I introduce myself now?
Oh,
Oh, right.
yeah,
We forgot.
lastly and leastly, the only one old enough here to remember 9/11. Evan.
So I'm wearing a Eagles t-shirt. The only terrorist organization I belong to is a Philadelphia sports fan.
Yeah, domestic
Sports
terrorism
fans think that's
started
funny.
in Philadelphia after the Eagles won the
they
Super
eat
Bowl.
poop and they climb poles. It's a very dumb sort
I
of
know.
terrorism,
So
but
strange.
it is terrorism. We throw batteries
Like
at
lad
people.
culture.
apparently.
Is lad culture a
We
form of
boo Santa
terrorism?
Claus. Yes.
See,
Yes.
Wow,
I think I'm
when they
just
get
Slow
to
down.
be,
Sleep.
when they get to be skinheads.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything
should-
Neo.
We should create a graph, and one line is terrorist and one line is lad
Sports
culture.
fandom.
And at what point do you cross over from being a
Pretty
lad to a
regular.
terrorist?
When you
Yeah.
start, well, but lad
branding
culture
wise.
can also be like, it can be lighthearted. Like, it can be about banter, like kind of just like going to the pub with your friends, cheeky Nando's with the lads. You know what I mean? We have all that.
I just
but then
every time Sarah talks like this, I just think of Love Island.
but then you can get into yeah, Paul just said cheeky bevs at the boozer, and that's also correct. But then you can get into football hooliganery, in which they're like kind of jumping on cars.
Yeah.
burning cars,
Yeah,
burning
this-
cars,
I thought that
flipping
was
cars o-
normal.
flipping cars over. We do that here
Car-based.
too.
Yeah, we did that at college ball.
Car-based
Just all
stuff.
car-based
Any
activities.
car-based.
Couches.
car-based terrorism.
I think that it's time to talk about an example of a joke about terrorism, terrorists, that whole shindig that maybe we don't think is the funniest. We have a
Shindig?
clip. I believe it's Jamie Foxx, which is, devastating because I actually love Jamie Foxx.
Same,
He's
I'm a
king,
stan.
The Oscar
we're
winning.
gonna-
Also has a great voice.
I get on the plane. I had to fly out here. I'm nervous as a motherfucker. I'm like, and then I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, one of them Tannenbaum, whatever, the Talibans, come sit right next to me on the plane. I'm like, ain't this, oh shit, this motherfucker. And you know how you don't talk shit about what you would have done on the plane and shit. If that had been me, I'd have kicked shit. I was nervous as a mother. I said, here come this Taliban right here. Do they see him? Do they see this motherfucker? It's a fucking, hold on, no. Boom. I think we got a Taliban is sitting right next to me. Please come get this motherfucker. I don't know what he is. Boom, please. Would you like some water, sir? No, bitch, get me a knife. And then and I'm seeing he got his head down. I said, oh shit, he concentrating on some shit. He didn't eat the peanuts. And you know you gotta eat the peanuts. You hungry? It must be the Ramadan, cause he ain't eating the peanuts. It's got to be the boom. It's a Taliban or something. It's a Tannenbaum. Please come get this tallywhacker. I don't know what the fuck it's calling. Because even if you did get on the plane, we so free, even if you did get on the plane and everybody on there was American, wouldn't you feel good? Huh? Wouldn't you feel good? But wouldn't it be fucked up as the plane was taking off, the pilot came on, welcome to flight 666. Ain't this a bitch?
That was one of the
Apparently.
worst jokes I've actually ever watched. I'm going to start off by saying that. Do we all agree?
Yeah.
Like that was
Oh, yeah, that was
genuinely one of
terrible.
the worst. Like
Terrible.
Good. I'm glad it's not just me. I thought I just had to stick up my
No,
ass,
go
but I was
off,
like,
Sarah. Go.
it was just so cringy. It was so lame. It was like the thing that you'd hear someone maybe say in the corner of a room and everyone would go silent and look at them and be like, what the actual fuck? Like, I just don't understand what he was thinking. Like beyond it being obviously like racist and like rude and offensive, it was just like skin crawlingly awful, you know?
Yeah. Not
I-
funny.
I feel like what he was, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the thing he was trying to make funny is like making himself look dumb. And I hate that. Like, what is the punchline here? Is the punchline like that the fact that the person's Indian, or is it like you don't know what to call the person? Like, because he went through so much vocabulary and then was like, I don't know what to call him. You know what I mean? Like it was, I don't know. I felt like it was like minstrelly.
He also
like,
made all brown people a like
terrorist, right?
monolith of terrorism.
Right,
because
right.
Which is probably the
was
main
saying
thing to
languages and
avoid. We could start the buzz
regions
list
and-
now.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's
he
maybe the
was-
main thing to avoid when writing one of these
Right.
jokes.
Yeah.
Don't
Like-
do
Like
that.
even
You'd
Like,
say that
obviously-
All
now.
brown people on earth together.
Right.
Yeah, let's not lump them.
I think you're right. I think he was trying to make himself the joke, but at the end of the day, he flipped it completely around
Right.
and made the person flying the plane.
Right.
well,
And
also-
he even if he had been specific, like comedy, as we know, I think is funniest when it's specific. And
Right.
he even like could like there was no effort even in there. Like
Very
it was
vague.
always gonna be bad, but like
Mhm.
he didn't even pick like one type of person. He just
Yeah.
really went out there like throwing shit out there to see what sticks. And he didn't even at the end, the punchline was just an accent. There wasn't
Mhm.
actually like a joke in what he was saying.
I truly believe that if Jamie Foxx today watched that ad
He'd be
that,
upset.
bit
That's
right
good.
now, he would be embarrassed by that. I
Yeah,
think
I
he would.
think so.
I like to think,
I think he
the
would.
Jamie Foxx I know.
Yeah.
who
You,
won
I
an
hope he
Oscar.
would.
your friend Jamie.
Don't know him. Never met him.
Was I named
Yeah.
after Jamie Foxx? Be honest.
Not at all.
Okay.
Collective disappointment.
No, so I think that was a bad joke. I think we all know why. I think we've talked about it in previous episodes. We got the accent, we got the racism, but also like we got the check.
Mhm.
I think also when you're dealing with talking about terrorism, like especially the racism that comes with it is like even worse because it affects not just, when you're talking about terrorism, but also then the xenophobia that came out of like lumping, brown people together after 9/11, or just like in general, especially in regards to like airport humor, like
it's dangerous.
It's so dangerous because you're fueling xenophobia and
inciting
racism.
hate crimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And a genuine feeling of alienation.
Are you reading this? Or is it-
That came from me.
It does blink if they have you captive.
Right.
But it does also make you think. I feel like we've talked about this going through all the episodes. It's like, that's why cancel culture is so silly though, because there should be a way to hold people accountable and like then progress forward without exiling people. Obviously, sliding scale, we know this. But
right.
I think though that this specifically with this type of humor, like where people fuck up when they're trying to take quote unquote responsibilities, they're like, oh well, it was the time, blah blah blah. That excuse doesn't work though, because there's always people at that time saying it was wrong. They just don't have the loud voices, right? Like there was always people saying blackface is wrong because black people have always existed being like, this is wrong. Right. So I think it's just, I'll step off my soapbox now. But anyway, cancel culture is stupid, but also take responsibility for your actions.
Well, but there have been very famous comedians canceled for jokes about terrorism, because it was too soon or they took the wrong side.
I know the two.
Are you talking about Gilbert Gottfried? For our listeners, Gilbert Gottfried, there was a notorious joke told as part of a roast, a celebrity roast, after 10 days after 9/11, a week after, 2 weeks,
I think it was maybe
some
sooner.
12 days or something after 9/11.
The original 9/11, not the anniversary, the actual.
No,
event itself.
the OG, the first one, the only one.
That's the way my mind works. I wanted to basically address the elephant in the room.
I have to catch a flight to California. I can't get a direct flight. They said they have to stop at the Empire State Building first.
So and then somebody in the audience screams, too soon, too soon.
If we're going to unpack all of the international politics of the US, we might need an hour slot for this episode because it will take us quite some time.
Okay, well, maybe our listeners will be able to see us live soon enough. I don't know.
Hey, wait, what do you mean?
Is that a hint?
I don't know that we're allowed to say yet.
I think we can. I think we can say we're going to be playing New York Comedy Festival.
What? We're allowed to say?
Did you hook that up for us?
Wait, we have a live show?
It's November 9th. Look at our whatevers and social things for information.
Evan, follow the script.
Yeah, social
I have
things.
no script.
Yeah, we're going to be playing a live show as part of New York Comedy Festival on November 9th at the Asylum Theater at 9:30 p.m. So keep checking our pages because tickets will go live at some point. We don't know when.
They'll be selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, be there or be square.
I'd rather sell
Losers.
tickets than hotcakes.
Okay, so apparently we need a lunch
All right.
break.
Business brain in you.
Rein it in.
That's why you have that Emmy.
Shall we throw?
The one right there.
Oh, Lord. All right, so I think we should see an ad.
From the makers of HelloFresh, we now introduce a new box delivery service with a radical twist. Homegrown Terrorists. Homegrown Terrorists has one mission: to provide you with the most unrefined virgin produce. Grown on rich American soil, the growth of our product is reliable and exponentially fast. Though our crop may appear immature, bitter, and pale, they've been ripening for years and years on internet chat rooms. Instead of in cardboard boxes, we ship our bountiful harvest around the nation in the backs of Ubers or their parents' Subarus. How do they grow so fast? Do you water them? No! Our produce hasn't had a drop of water in years. They think water's a mind control trick by the government. We use a self-watering system composed solely of irresponsibly FDA-approved energy drinks. Sunlight? Psst, please. We provide the light source of a computer screen ablaze with the harsh glow of minority-hating 4chan threads. Fertilizer? Kinda. We pump our seasonal yieldings with an array of nutrient-dense compounds. Things like ill-prescribed medications generously gifted by our main financial backer, the pharmaceutical industry. In fact, with every purchase you make at Homegrown Terrorists, we'll send you an unmarked pill. Get yours today. That's if you don't already have one. Check your kid's laptop. Homegrown Terrorists, the fruit of American labor.
Okay. The end. Moving on. We are eating time. Okay. We are gonna now take a look at hopefully a better joke than Jamie Foxx's joke. I believe we also have a clip. I don't know why I always say I know we have a clip. Let's just roll the clip.
I know with certainty
This is
a clip will be playing.
This is I'm 100% certain that this is a clip of Ramesh, a stand-up comic, as part of I think it was part of a festival, but I actually don't know.
I was complaining about it to a friend of mine. I said, dude, I'm so done with this airport security, man. It's pissing me off. Do you know what he said to me? He said to me, don't be so bloody selfish. Do you know the reason we have those measures in place? Ramesh. It's because we don't want the terrorists to win. So why don't you suck it up and deal with it? Ramesh. Now, I understand the argument, but my counter-argument would be this. How do we know that the terrorists haven't already won? How do we know what their initial goal was? What if their initial goal was just to make air travel fucking annoying?
Well, I just think we always have less to say about the good ones because we're like,
I know.
it's funny.
We're like, great.
It's just funny.
Snaps. Yeah.
Like with good art, it just kind of comes from somewhere, just strikes you.
I think this one is really inventive, and that's why I like it. Like I haven't heard this before. Like it was a new spin on something.
Yeah,
Well, I think that's because we don't have a lot of comedians who have
Are brown?
Ramesh's point of view, or
Right.
his specific point of view.
That's true.
I loved it.
I also think that he took the awkwardness out of the conversation. I think he immediately addressed the fact that he's brown with a beard. And so we're going to laugh about the fact that he's treated like a terrorist, and he gives you that permission. And it's like, oh yeah, this is fucked up. And then he goes on to just make fun of terrorism as a whole, which again, yeah, it's original.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fun.
And nothing to do with the victims as well. It's
Right.
not violent, or it's to do with the victims, people who are victimized for people guessing they're the terrorists, but nothing to do with the victims of attacks.
There's no
Not
monolith.
about people being mass murdered.
Right.
No.
It's just a joke about terrorism that makes you say, huh?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take any sides whatsoever. It's literally just an observation. It's a piece of observational humor about the object of terrorism, which is really brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Funny.
It's
Good
funny.
job.
Funny.
Good job, Ramesh. Okay. Moving on. I think it's time for us to take a stab at writing a joke. Do we want, let's have
Can I
Evan stick
leave
around
now?
for, no, let's have you stick around for prompts.
Okay. So I thought it would be really funny to see hear me out.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're listening.
So so you know how as a brown person, no, you don't, none of you do. But as a brown person, when you're going through TSA,
Wait, I actually
there's kind of crazy stuff. I've had to throw away apples, and they go through your food, and I get pat down quite a bit of time. I'm sure it's worse for South Asian brown people. But anyway, I thought it'd be really funny if we saw a white man go through the same thing. If we treated domestic terrorism to the same caliber. So getting just absurd and over the top, getting patted down, tackled by TSA for carrying an apple in your pocket, and then having spent hours being interrogated in the room. I thought that could be so funny. Because
That is funny. I like that.
and then I was thinking about the drone cameo, because all of our terrorism happen, all of our terrorist action happens over drones now. That's how we take out the terror. And I thought it'd be so funny to see the drone perspective of them playing checkers or something, and we're oh, making it such a big deal, and they're doing something crazy on the drone.
I think that
I
there's
don't
something in the
think
first thing that you said. I also
Mhm.
wonder if we can build off of it and just be like, if we treated white terrorists the same way we do brown terrorists,
We pat
so,
down
like-
everybody who looks like me.
Yeah.
right?
I know,
But
I got
not
so
just
nervous
like
saying that.
not just like how we treat like white people going through airport security, but also like if we treated like the people who right, like the Michigan militiamen or
Mhm.
like the like insurrection men, you know, the same way, we would be like calling for their heads instead of like, you know, like some people calling them heroes, you know.
Mhm.
Statistically speaking, homegrown white terrorists are much more successful than any other kind of terrorists in America. So we
Homegrown
can
white
actually-
terrorists is a good thing for our ad. I just realized, like a kind of
Yes.
farm to table.
Homegrown white
We
terrorists.
we should be profiling the most active terrorists in America, and they are
Right.
white dudes
Mhm.
Yes,
with
it's true.
beards. 100%.
Yeah, they're responsible
it.
for what? The majority. Can we get a fact check on how many deaths
100%.
are
It's the
committed
FBI.
or
The FBI has a recent report that highlights all the statistics around white nationalist terrorism and how and comparing and contrasting. If you find international foreign terrorists and domestic terrorists, the body count is it's not even close.
Interesting. And it makes the news so much less because I'm like counting. I'm like,
Because
I
we're
don't know.
white.
I'm like,
Have you met us?
I was also thinking
mean,
about
I'm
the
gonna-
way that like snipers
We
are going
control the
in
newsroom.
and killing like terrorists, right? Like the main big terrorists, how they just like kill them. And I was just thinking like if there could be something else they could do with them, like a world in which instead of just going in and killing them, they could like utilize them
they could go to the Swedish prison.
in a way.
They could counter the
the
domestic terrorists.
or they could like try to like start like a healing group for the rest
Yeah,
of the
like-
terrorists.
Yes.
Like
They could go into
Instead of-
schools for
instead
like
of
talks,
sending,
TED
like-
talks.
yeah, instead of sending a sniper into
talks.
like a bunker of like the terrorists, right? We could just send like a webcam with like a teenage like astrology girl in there and
Yeah,
what's
like
your
try
sign?
and talk them out
What's
of
your
it.
sign?
So how about a
feel like-
psychiatrist?
I feel like your sign, well, yeah.
I
But
like
they
the
wouldn't listen to a
astrologist.
medical professional. They
Yeah,
would
no.
listen like I'm banking on them
What's
being
his
curvy
get
and
Tony
interchangeable.
Robbins? Get Tony Robbins to do it.
Who's that?
I was gonna
Yeah, I
say, who's
don't
Tony
know who that
Robbins?
is.
Do we need to know who this
Who
is?
the hell?
This is an age thing. This happened in the 80s.
A little bit. Yeah.
Can we have a tally of how many times Evan makes a reference to something that none of us
None of us know.
Including 9/11,
Yeah. I only vaguely
that?
remember.
the Iraq War, mission accomplished. Those
No,
little-
that we know.
Okay, we know. we
central
know that
thesis of
part.
the episode. Just those things. Do you want
The
me to
thesis
leave
of the
now?
episode is
Okay.
Evan is old.
Okay.
Isn't that the thesis of every episode?
No,
Most
only like
episodes.
two of them.
Only two. We
Oh.
haven't done the ageism. When is the ageism episode? Every episode.
I don't
That's gotta
know.
come.
That's every episode.
Every episode. Can I go now? Can you
Yeah,
just
leave.
write?
Yeah.
Okay,
Go.
Peace
Bye.
out, Boy Scout.
I'm not listening.
Okay. So let's take a minute. I have no pants on, so I'm turning off my camera while I lie down to write.
If you make yourself the terrorist, like, is this a rule? Like, you know what I mean? Because in other episodes, we're like, don't align yourself with the raper and the pedophile. But like, can you align yourself as the terrorist?
I'm on board with making my dad in a terrorist. I feel like that gives me a foolproof way to ignore everything he says from now on. What do we think?
I really like it.
Okay, let's bring him back.
I'm excited. I loved this writer's room. Good job, gals.
This is
I
a
think
good
this
job.
is fucking
pretty
fantastic.
fun.
We're so funny.
Well, we'll
I'll-
see what happens.
I'll
Was
be
that
the judge.
funny?
Of that. Yeah, let's wait and see what happens.
When have we ever trusted your judgment? So
The level of bullshit that white terrorists get away with in the airport is obscene. They got hints of cocaine on their hands, a white supremacist manifesto in their backpacks. Is that a homemade pipe bomb? Or are you just happy to see me? No biggie. Good old Johnny with the khakis and t-shirt couldn't possibly be contemplating some kind of violent terrorism. But that nice brown man in the suit, there are definitely explosive substances in his chapstick. There are brown women forcibly having hijabs removed in front of me and black women having their hair patted down, but no one ever thinks to search my 10-foot coif. silly. It's where I store my drugs.
I think it's good. I like it.
That's great.
I think it's cute.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think we got a successful joke in there. If you agree or disagree, please let us know. You can find us at cancelculture_pod on Instagram, cancelculture_p, I think, on Twitter, whatever. Look us up. And we hope to see you at our live show November
9th,
where you can
Live
see
show.
us make fun of Evan in real time.
In
Awesome.
real life. Yes.
In real life, yeah.
In real life.
And maybe you'll get a
Gonna feel
chance to do it
good.
too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Everyone who comes to the show can make fun of me.
Yeah.
We'll have a bucket collecting roasts on Evan.
Or a
Until
dunk
next
tank.
time. Oh, that's a good idea. Dunk tank. Is that in the budget?
No.
Okay. Until next time, this has been Cancel Culture.
Canceled.
Canceled.
Canceled. Canceled.
Cancel.
Canceled.
Terrorism.
Canceled.
Cancel.
Canceled. Canceled.
Cancel
culture.
podcast.